am very excited about today's exclusive. And I'm excited that the gang's all here. So we've got Corrine Pagano, and she's going to be joining us. We're very excited about this release. Rob Christie, CTO. We're super, super excited for today's exclusive. We told you last month we weren't going to do one this month, and then we changed our mind because we had some really exciting things that happened. Corrine, what was the really exciting thing that happened last month?
XCL won the Gold Award at the Learning Technologies Conference for, is it Best
Most,
New Innovative Product?
most is a very long title.
It is.
Most new. It was the most new, most innovative new learning technologies product of 2025.
Which is no surprise to me at all. Deserved. And I think we found out the news when we were at DevLearn.
Yes, we did. We found out the news at DevLearn. I was actually in the speaker room prepping for a session and started jumping up and down with Wendy Morgan, who was in there with me. We were doing a session together later that day on creating chatbots, AI chatbots. And I found out Susie Miller, who's going to be on a webinar with us next week talking about accessibility in our projects at that awards gala. But we're going to be talking about that next week. And Susie Miller was sending me a message on WhatsApp because she was there to accept the award for Build Capable, because our whole team was at DevLearn in Vegas. So she was in London for us. And we just started jumping up and down. And then Corrine sends me a text about something totally different for XCL.
Literally, it was a partnership potential, like exciting conversation. And I was like, Sarah, you need to come down. We won. And I was like, I literally was in a totally different headspace. So when you said we won, I was like, we won what? What did we, what
It
did
was,
we win? And when I realized what it was, and when Sarah told me what had happened, I was like, one, just thrilled, because
yes,
I do think it is incredibly well deserved. A little surprised, I think,
I
because
was floored.
in a year of AI flurry of innovation, the fact that XCL won that award, I think, is very telling about its impact on the industry and its potential to really change how people think about data and tracking and delivering content and all the things. But I'm so happy. And
Yeah, it was
we
exciting. Rob was there, but Rob was back at the room. And so I tell Rob, and I'm so excited, but Rob was very busy working on this release that we're going to talk about today. So we did celebrate later that evening, but Rob was laser focused on getting this release out. And so, how about we tell you all about what's in this new release? Because that's the whole reason we wanted to have this exclusive today. Is there are just too many exciting things to share with you? So we figured we would just jump on and talk about them. So, ready to get started? Let's do it. Okay. So, I'm going to share XCL. This is the most recent version. This is actually version 2.33, but the list of the things that are in this release is on the releases page. That'll be in the comments and the recording for this exclusive. So, the first thing that I think is probably the biggest change in this release is the analytics. In the analytics section of XCL, you have the ability to get data in two different ways. One, you can go out to the dashboard and you can add different charts for whatever links that you've created in XCL. So if you've created a link to some content, you can quickly select a link and you can see the chart dashboard for that. Now, this is a test account, so there's not a ton of data in it, but you can quickly see how many people have launched, passed. If there's a completion or pass, that column will show. If you have something that's got passed and completed data, then you'll have 3 columns there. But the cool thing that I actually like about the dashboard now is that you've got this way to quickly access user completion. And so you can quickly get a list and see everybody who has launched, completed, or passed a given piece of content very quickly and download that as a CSV. So there's your completion report, folks. We're actually going to talk about this next month. We're going to have compliance month in January. We're going to talk about how easy it is to do compliance with XCL. So this is your compliance report. How many people finished a thing? If you care about that, we make it super easy now in this new release. The other thing that's really awesome in the analytics now is in the activity stream. This is where all of your deeper data is. And here's the thing, spoiler alert, you've been collecting this all along. If you've been using XCL before this release, you were already collecting this data. What Rob here has done is just made it way easier for you to access that data. So now you can see all this stuff. You can see who's done what very quickly and to what extent. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite things. One is the filters. In the filters drop down, now I can filter my data by date range. I can look at a very specific link and filter it down by just a given link. I can put in a person's name and just filter data for a given person. And I can also filter it by the action that they took. So we've got a pre-populated list of actions in XCL, but you can actually, if you've done custom statements, type in a verb, an action that you've programmed into any kind of content that you are distributing through XCL, which is super cool because we do a lot of custom data at Build Capable for our customers. And so you can search that way too and type it in. So that's one of my most favorite things about this new release, Rob, is the filters that you put in for those of us who want to quickly access data and filter that down. But the other thing that Rob and I talked a lot about before this release is, can I see what a person answered to a specific question or activity? Can I get that data really fast in the activity stream? So I'm going to give you an example. Let's take a look at some questions. So these are some questions that have been answered in some kind of e-learning. It looks like out of Articulate Rise. I can go and click on the result link, and it shows me whether they got it right or wrong. It shows me what type of question it was. It shows me what the correct responses might have been. And then it shows me what the user answered or the learner answered and whether they got it correct or not. It's color coded, but it also has the word because accessibility. I know Kareen in a previous exclusive talked about color blindness and red and green and how that indicator alone is not sufficient. So we also have whether that is correct or incorrect in text. But you can see it for all different types of questions. This is a multiple choice question. This one is a fill in the blank, which clearly I have filled in a not answer and I got it wrong. So there's some really cool, just quick access stuff to things that when you're designing learning experiences, you might want to know. All of this data plus a ton more is now accessible in the CSV. So you've always had this CSV download button at the bottom of the screen. Now, when you download your CSV, you have way more fields. So if you're collecting a lot of different data, that will all show up in the CSV fields. So a lot of really cool stuff there. Let's head over to brand templates. This is Kareen's favorite that came out in this release. Kareen, tell us about anonymous brand templates. Tell us about your use case for this.
Yes, I'm using XCL to track engagement with some white papers and some kind of marketing-ish collateral, so not learning content. But I do want to track who's accessing the content. So I have two different links that I use. One that I can just send out where no one has to give me any of their information to access the asset, and I can track engagement. And another one that looks like this, where I can collect a little bit of information about who's accessing it before they get access to the collateral. But now I can brand it with my consulting organization, Rising Tide. Like, I can brand it with Rising Tide's brand, so it doesn't disrupt the user flow or experience in accessing the content, but I can either decide to collect an information or not. I can just give them access to the thing.
Yeah. So one way you mentioned is that you want to collect a little bit of information so you
Yep.
can contact them later.
Sure.
But sometimes you have stuff you just want to track the data
Yes.
and more than just what you would get in web analytics. Because I have this conversation a lot. Like we have web analytics built into all of our websites. So I can see like how many people are clicking on things and when, and I can see things at a very high rolled up level. But what I can't see is things that are relevant to me about the content itself. Yeah, I can see that you clicked on this white paper, but did you read it? Do I have any indication that you read it? How much time did you spend in it? Did you just click it and bail out of it? Did you download it? Did you print it? There are some things that would be useful for us to know about different types of content that you might be sharing out there, even if it's anonymous. So, one of the things in this release is that you can actually make something anonymous, right? And turn off all the need for collecting information. And then you have the ability to, for anonymous access, you can toggle it off and say, don't show the landing page. So I can bypass the landing page altogether.
The reality is, like, if you can create a link or a QR code that will do all the XCL tracking and implement all the XCL functionality,
Mhm.
but no one actually even has to go to a landing page. It's
Right.
amazing. Toggle that off. You can send them right to the article. You're still collecting all of the XCL data, but you don't have that interim step, which I would
Right.
always use. Honestly, if I'm collecting anonymous data, I would always use that function. I would
Mhm.
only use the landing page if I do want to collect some data about folks. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And you'll have that toggle, and I'm in this demo account, but you'll have that toggle to toggle off the landing page altogether and just completely skip it. You can bypass the landing page altogether. So that's really exciting because sometimes you just want to get some data. You don't want to collect anybody's personal information, but you do want to know what's going on. So you can completely bypass that landing page. Another interesting thing, again, I'm not in the right account, but in an instance where you have single sign on, you can also bypass the landing page. This is something we've implemented in our company where we have Microsoft at Build Capable, and we have an account set up to where if anybody that's in our company, they're already logged into Microsoft, they're already logged into their account at their desk. And if they go into an XCL link where I bypass the landing page, it will collect information about them without them having to hit a landing page and enter anything in because they're already logged in at their computer. And that is really just amazing. I love the way that Rob has set that up. And that is for customers who have single sign on. We have lots of customers on single sign on now that are taking advantage of that functionality. The next thing that I want to go to is over in the links. The learning link list is super exciting now because of one little button that I've been asking Rob for from the very beginning. And that's this download CSV of the links. So you can download your link list. And when you download that CSV, it gives you the name of the link, the type of content it is. So if it's a video, PDF, e-learning, so forth, website, it tells you what the link is to. It tells you when it was created, all the stuff that you see on this page, but you can download that CSV. Why I like this outside of just governance and easier access to your link list is that I can also create chatbots with that. I can actually take that link list and program it into a chatbot and say, when somebody asks this type of question, reference this CSV, which is all tagged in meaningful fields so that you can then serve that up using any kind of AI type agents that you want to use in your organization. But there's some stuff coming up on the roadmap that we'll talk about in a second that makes that even more exciting. Just know you can download all your links now, a list of your links. The next thing that I want to talk about is actually something that I wish that I wasn't talking about. I know what it is. It's SCORM 1.2. So people kept asking me for SCORM 1.2. Can I put my SCORM stuff in XCL? And we had it, but I really didn't want to turn it on, y'all. I didn't want to. I wanted people to use the newer versions of the standards that are available to us, not something that's now how many years old, Rob? Are we 25, 26?
Very many. Yeah.
Rob has a variable counter inside of the link list. He has a variable counter that will tell you precisely how many
24
years
years.
old SCORM 1.2 is. 24 years old. A lot of people use it because they're like, but it gives me consistently the stuff that I need. Yeah, because it's only given you 2 pieces of data, whether you looked at it and whether you completed it based on some kind of completion settings that you gave it. That's it, which is fine. There are a lot of people, that's all they need. And that's rad. That's great. You can stick your 1.2 content in here now, but I would highly encourage you just to break up with it. You could get so much better data and so much more meaningful information out of your learning experiences, training content, if you just used a different standard. It's just good. For most of us, it's just clicking a different button in the publish settings in your e-learning. But here's the thing. Some people have a bunch of 1.2 stuff that vendors have given to them that other folks have built, and they don't have a way to change that. So I want to acknowledge that and honor that and say, for all of you who needed just somewhere to put SCORM 1.2 stuff, we've got a place for that now. And it will convert all your data and it'll show up in the activity stream in the same format as everything else. You won't get as much data as everything else, but you'll get a little bit more than what you're getting out of an LMS, which is pretty cool. So that's all the stuff that's in the current release. I'm very excited about the next part of our discussion. Rob, let's tell them a little bit about what's coming up on the roadmap. And first of all, before we get into this, always know that if you have something that you really want in XCL, reach out to us at our contact. You can go to the website and go to, it's buildxcl.com/contact, I believe. I'll put it in the comments. But reach out to us if you have things that you would like to suggest or request, because our roadmap is now about 2 years long. And so if you really want something and have a really good use case for it, we might be able to move things earlier in the roadmap to accommodate you. But let's kick this off, Rob, with what I think everybody has really wanted to see for a long time. Since beta, we had it in beta.
It's beta.
Tell us a
It
little
was,
bit
yeah.
about the sandbox.
So yeah, the sandbox account, a much awaited feature, even basically a free account,
Free
Um,
forever
free
account
forever account.
with a
Great
catch.
with a catch. It's great for testing. It's great for trying out the system and seeing how it works and how it can be used, and testing out use cases, testing out environments of how it can be applied in your environment. Check out the QR code. The catch is that to keep costs low on our side, we keep all your data in one big LRS. Now, you won't see anyone else's data and they won't see your data under all intents and purposes, but we can't promise that your data is securely being stored separately from other data. It's adjacent to other data, and it gets cleared out from time to time. As it is testing for you, it is also testing for us. The intervals of that are about a month to 3 months at a time. So your data is not going to last forever, but your account will. So test your links, build your storyline files, build your custom files, build your PDFs, see how it works, see what the kind of data you're going to be collecting. And when you're ready, you can simply upgrade. And then your links stay the same. Everything stays the same. It's just where your data gets stored changes. And that's a really exciting feature. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to that for a long time. An opportunity to start anytime. I remember the beta where we had hundreds of people sign up in a day just off of a QR code while walking around a show. So I'm expecting this to be a big kind of windfall of users. And it's an opportunity for the tool to really grow quickly as well. That's a lot of opinions about how things should work and how things should progress in the future. And then that's a lot of opportunity for people to try out this most innovative new software product of 2025.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I love about the sandbox, as someone who has done this work for a very long time, is testing. Sometimes you just want to really quickly test something to see how it works. And I was actually talking to the folks over at Maestro, and they were doing some testing on some of their publishing plugin that they have for Articulate Rise. And I was like, hey, do you just want to use the XCL sandbox? And they were very excited, but it's so much easier because it only takes a couple seconds. You don't have to set up an account. Like, you don't have to send it to yourself and then create a fake account or do whatever. It's instantaneous how fast you can set up links and test them. So I'm excited about it for testing purposes. Then, like you said, Rob, if it's something that you want to actually deploy and use, awesome. But a lot of what we do in organizations is just testing stuff and making sure, does this work? What data am I getting? Making that process faster. Even if you have some LMS somewhere, what if you could test it way faster than having to load it to your LMS and do all that stuff? Like, this is just a much faster way to do that. So I'm excited about it for that. I'm also excited about it because it gives people the opportunity to learn more about how to use data, how to access data, what kind of data can I get out of different things. And I feel like a lot of folks have talked to me about learning about data, learning about the XAPI standard, things like that. They know they want to get data, but they don't really know enough about it to know what even questions to ask. And most of the folks that I've talked to have said, once somebody shows me how it works, then I get it. It's just I have to somebody show me an example or show me how it works or let me use this with my own stuff. And that's what I love about the sandbox. Alongside that, we're also giving away free access to LearnX API through the end of the year. So LearnX API is our certificate program that we have. It's usually $250, and we're giving that away for free through the end of the year. You can sign up and access and go through that certificate program to learn about the XAPI standard and how to get better data. We can talk about standards all day long, but the goal really is I want something more than just did somebody pass it or fail it. I need just one other piece of data or this other piece of information that I cannot get with these old standards. XAPI can allow you to do that. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how people experience that. And again, I'll put the LearnX API link in the comments and in the chat. The coupon code is Build Capable XCL altogether. And you can go out and access and register for LearnX API. It's just learnxapi.com. All right, one more thing. This is a thing that we geeked out with Kareen on, and that is going back to that link list that I mentioned earlier. So in the link list download in the CSV, you get everything that you've put in about that link. But there are a couple of things that I really want in there. And we've actually talked about this since we built the original version of XCL. There are two things I really want in that link list. I want a description and I want some tags, right? I want a little bit of additional information about the link. And there are a lot of reasons for that. One is if I download a long list of links, based on my naming convention, sometimes some information can get lost, especially if you have a lot of links. The other reason is feeding it into other systems and getting some other use out of those links. So, Kareen, tell me a little bit about what AI needs to do something with anything.
Data. It needs data and it needs context. So it
Context.
needs context. One of the things that I certainly for folks that are using lots of links, and so anyone who's been using XCL for a little while will tell you you can really quickly realize how useful it is and how helpful it is. And now suddenly you want to wrap everything with XCL so you can start collecting data on it. Once you start doing being able to integrate in with other systems and pull in descriptions or being able to search for something and having additional tags or metadata or even the description data because AI can read all of it, right? And search can search all of that content will help you find the links once you've got a lot of them. And obviously there are mechanisms that you can create to store and organize and all the things you're linked, but metadata, super important. And the descriptions are going to be a game changer. I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And one of the things as I was building a chatbot with our current link list is I had to give the chatbot a lot more context about those links. If it was just already in my link list when I created the link, then I wouldn't have to go in and prompt that. It would just be able to reference the CSV, that column of the CSV. So I'm excited about getting that into the system. The other thing that it allows us to do is some really cool integrations that we cannot talk about yet, but it will allow for some other integrations in the future through our API. So there's some really cool stuff coming that we're building towards. But again, if there are features that you would like to see, let us know. Now, there's one last one that I want to talk about. I do a lot of work in accessibility, and one of the things that I'm most proud of in this system is that it passes WCAG 2.1 AA with no exceptions. And that is huge for any learning technology. We are the only learning technology that I'm aware of that exists that can pass 2.1 AA with no exceptions rather. So I don't take this lightly. I think it's really important for usability and user experience for everyone to have a very accessible system. Along those lines, one of the things that we're adding that I'm really excited about is multiple VTT files, multiple caption files or subtitle files for your videos, because that will make this easier for you to create videos that have multiple language files. You can do it now, but you would have to create multiple links, which is not fun. If you've got to do something where you have a video that's in English, but you want to also have, let's say, French and Spanish subtitles. Well, you would have to create two different links, a French version and a Spanish version. What we're doing in the upcoming release is giving you the ability to upload multiple VTT files. So that way the user can switch to what subtitles they want in one video. I want to acknowledge that it would have been awesome could we have built it that way in the first place. But I appreciate everyone's patience as we continue to build out the different features in this tool. But I am very excited about that functionality and supporting multiple language videos. So you'll have that ability to do the multiple language files, both in videos that you've loaded to XCL and also ones that you've linked to that are not stored on our server. So you'll be able to do it either way. So super exciting stuff coming up on the roadmap. We have a couple of surprises that we're not sharing today, but I hope that this gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect to see coming in January, late January. Rob, don't give him a time. Don't commit to a date.
In true product tech fashion, never commit to date there.
I know it will be coming up in first quarter for sure. It will be early first quarter. Fortunately, our team is very fast at getting this stuff rolled out. We're excited about already moving on to the next thing. So we'll look forward to some things. There's some things currently in testing that are rolling out. So this is already being built. It's not pushed off too far. So one of the things that I wanted to share is what's coming up in January and February. So January, we're going to be focused, as I mentioned, on compliance. If you are only using training or an LMS primarily, I guess I should say primarily for compliance purposes, we're going to show you how to do that much faster and much less expensive than having to use an LMS for it. So that is coming up in January. We want to help you meet your compliance requirements much easier, much faster, much more accessible for your learners. The other thing that we're going to be doing, and this is in February, we have an event coming up where we're going to show you how to create an accessible PDF. And we have a special guest on to help with that we'll be announcing later. And then we're going to show you how to create an accessible PDF and then keep it accessible and track everything in it in XCL on that exclusive in February. So there's some really cool stuff coming up. But the most immediate one is catch us next week on Thursday, where Susie Miller will be joining us and we'll be talking about some accessibility features, both in XCL and in her project that won a silver award in the category. I think it was another long name, like the most incredible learning experience or excellence in e-learning or something like that. So we're going to be talking about accessibility in both e-learning experiences and also in tools like XCL. So we're going to be talking about accessibility, what it takes to do that kind of behind the scenes, and what turns that into innovative, award-winning outcomes, right? And how accessibility plays a role in that. So we're looking forward to that discussion next week with Susie. And I want to thank you all for joining us for this special exclusive. Okay, this is our celebration picture in Vegas right after we won the award. Kareen got us a bottle of champagne and we celebrated with Julie Dirksen and Wendy Morgan and John. Kareen's husband was there. Lots of folks were there joining in with us to celebrate. So we will see you all next time. Thanks for joining us. We will put all of the links to access all of this free cool stuff in the comments. So we will see you all soon.